our witty banter to just start. That's what we do.
Right.
We just start. This was
Okay.
supposed to be another show, but now it's just you and me, Frank. No Bobby, no guest, no piece. I mean, I guess there are pieces of shit, but not in the way it's supposed to be.
Now let's save it. Let's save the pieces.
No, I'll
we
save
got
it.
other things.
And we'll let the people know when they listen to this. We will be moving that one to Friday, if that works for you. Friday evening. Do you have plans, sir?
Me?
Yes, you.
Well, that's
Who else would I talk to? 2 days.
You got an audience out there. You got this unbelievable.
It's not
audience.
live.
We're not live yet.
I've never been live. I will never. This will be the one podcast that never goes live.
Is it being recorded?
Yeah, I said to you, we're start.
Oh, it started already. Okay.
The banter. Look at you. No, and I will never go live. I don't like when people do live because they focus too much on the people commenting, and then it's not a flow of a conversation, you know?
Right.
So I don't like that live shit. But yeah, Friday, 8 o'clock. How about that?
8 o'clock. That sounds great. Let me put it in right now.
You put it in your writing, then I'll make sure those guys do it. Our guest will be Eric Nagel, known as E-Rock from Opie and Anthony. Now I'm telling the people, Frank. I know you know who it is, but that's our guest on POS. Okay. But this Friday, today, when you're listening to this will be coming out instead of a special, just me and Frank, POP, because why the hell not? Did you vote?
Yes.
How was your process?
The process was going to a mailbox 3 weeks ago and putting it in this slot.
Yeah, my mom did the same thing. I don't mean put it in the slot. I mean, she yes, I hadn't talked to her in like a week or two, and I talked to her yesterday, and she goes, I voted early on your birthday, October 15th. I'm like, you didn't have to say both. I know one of the. If you said October 15th, I know it's my birthday. If you said my birthday, I know it's October 15th. But she said she voted early, and she voted in North Carolina, which is a tight race. Right? As of right now, and I talking. As we're talking, we are recording this on a Wednesday night. No one knows who the president is. So when you hear this on Friday, like, what do you mean? We know who the president is, but we didn't know as this recording. I like a tight race. It's fun.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I feared this election because I thought like people would be nuts and be crazy, but I don't know. I'm kind of exciting it's an exciting photo finish. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, it's I went to bed last night. I think Trump was still president. And sometime this morning, something happened. I don't know when it happened, but I wasn't paying attention. But all of a sudden, Biden's back into it. And it is, they're going down the stretch now, and it is head-to-head.
Well, I mean, when you went to sleep, it was probably the West Coast was still just kicking.
No, I went to sleep at 12.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, at that point, Biden was close enough. I mean, where did you get your news? Who was your watching source?
Sam.
No, who were you watching?
Oh, I was watching. I flipped all over. I flipped to MSNBC, CNN, Fox.
Fuck
ABC,
them. If it's not Stephanopoulos, I don't listen to it. Stephanopoulos, baby.
You like Stephanopoulos? It was boring last night. It was very, very sedated last night.
He needed to be. They had a panel of 8,000. It looked like the United Nations. They had a black one, a Chinese lady, a white old thing, a lesbian. They had one. They went to one person. Yeah, there's Chris Krisky. Yeah, he was there. His side of his face looks like another face. It looks like they put a face on a face. It's crazy. And then they would go to like, here we are in Minnesota with this guy, or here we are with this lady. There was some guy that when he popped on the screen, I thought he was like a burn victim. Like it was weird. Like, I'm not saying that we can't have ugly people on, but remember when news reporters were all handsome and pretty?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
Well,
they're uggos now.
Well, I'll be honest with you. They all wear masks now, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you really can't tell if they're ugly, pretty, or not.
Well, no.
Unless they're the host. If they're the host, then there is a certain standard that they still have to be a host of a news show.
I didn't see any masks on ABC last night.
Well, according to ABC, there is no pandemic.
Is that what it is?
Yes, there's no pandemic.
Well, there is a pandemic. The pandemic's going to stop you and me from fucking doing comedy.
Oh, that's all.
Why is that, Matt? I don't understand the curfew. What does a curfew do? Does the coronavirus go out at night? Is it a party? Is it a party animal?
You know something? I really nine. You can't have a live show after 9:30. That's the ruling, right?
Right.
Beginning Friday.
But what is the reasoning of that? I mean, if the reasoning is that people, when they're out later, are intoxicated and
Right.
therefore make wrong decisions, we're trying to quell that. Okay, that's fine. But drunk people, there's people that are just drunk at 3 p.m. I think it should be the individual. Why can't we have a non-drinking show? Is it the drinking or is it just control? I don't get it. I don't understand why there's no comedy.
I truly don't understand it. There wasn't an explanation given. I thought that was a piece of shit.
All these Connecticut governors suck.
Yeah,
they do. This guy I thought was going to be better than the last guy. Lamont sucks.
He started off well.
Well, anything was better than Malloy.
Oh yeah.
First of all, his name's Daniel. It's not Daniel. It was Daniel. Who the fuck names their kid Daniel? That's an awful name, Daniel. Dannel. Daniel.
Who was that?
That was Malloy. He wasn't Daniel.
That was his first. It wasn't Danny Malloy?
No, it was Daniel.
Daniel?
Not Daniel. Daniel.
Wow.
His parents were even dumb. They couldn't spell Daniel right. I grew up a Lowell Weicker man, and that's my man. Lowell Weicker.
Lowell Weicker.
And then Jody Rell, she sucked. Yeah. Roland was crooked.
Right. I go back when I first moved to Connecticut. Grasso was governor.
Oh, his boulevard is awful.
Yeah.
For people that don't know Connecticut, El Grasso Boulevard is like your state's Martin Luther King Boulevard. It's awful, and it's where the hood people are. El Grasso. That's in New Haven.
Oh, that's in New Haven. Okay.
El Grasso's right there. It's like near Southern, and it cuts right through Whaley and all through that. And it's right by the hospital. It cuts through the worst parts. You could get, if you just strolled down El Grasso, you could get every drug and every venereal disease. And go to a Planned Parenthood, I think 3 times.
Well, I mean, it does lead to a hospital, so I think it does have some merit.
There's a lot of hospitals on that fucking road. There's a bunch in that area. We actually, when we go to the casino and we cut up that one road in New Haven, we do cross El Grasso for a second.
Oh, okay.
When we take that turn off 34 and that quick turn to go towards the highway, and we're passing all the hospitals and everything.
Yeah.
The second crossroad is the endings of El Grasso Boulevard.
Okay.
But if you went left on that and kept going through, you could get every kind, KFC, Crown Chicken, every kind of fried chicken you ever wanted, any kind of fried food, any kind of syringe. If you and I drove down that road, they would say, "Oh, look, there's 2 undercover cops."
Yeah,
that's what they would think we were on Mr. Grasso's. Ella T. Grasso. That was his name. Ella was a man.
Ella.
We've had Connecticut. If you look it up, we probably had the weakest first names for any. Lowell.
Lowell. Well, he's from Greenwich. Right? Wasn't Lowell from Greenwich? I believe it was.
I don't know. I was very young when Lowell Weicker was there. I'm happy I remember the name. Roland, I remember well that he was a crooked man. And then Jody Rell, I remember because everyone's like, "It's a lady." I was like, all right, whatever.
She was governor? I don't remember her.
She was after Roland.
Oh, after Roland. Okay.
Jody Rell. M. Jody Rell.
M. Jody Rell.
Is it letter M, then Jody Rell.
Miss? Is that Ms.? Ms.? I mean, Ms.?
How come? You might know this. How come when people get divorced, the woman gets to change her surname from Mrs. to Miss, MS, but a man is just always Mr.? Why don't we get a cool thing to say I'm divorced?
Well, Ms. doesn't have to mean you're divorced. Ms. is that you're not married. That's all.
No, Miss is if you're not married. MISS is if you're a single
I thought they had an option.
No,
you could be Ms. or Miss.
Well, no, Miss is single lady.
Right.
Mrs. is married woman.
Right.
Miss MS is the R came out because you're divorced. You're divorced.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the rules.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
and then men just get Mr. But we should have like Meister. Meister would be good.
Miserable.
Misterable. Misterable. That would work.
I like that. Miserable.
I'm miserable.
No. When he gets married, it's miserable. When he gets divorced, it's unmiserable.
Or maestro.
Maestro.
Or we go to the French. We'd be mon frère. I like mon frère.
Mon frère.
Hello. I am mon frère host. Hello to you. My wife, she is no longer. But if you're a widow, are you a Ms.? I liked when they used to call them the widow and then the last name.
Right, the
that
widow.
was my favorite.
Yeah.
Like the widow Murgalo. It's like
right. Who? The widow Murgalo.
If we were talking about you, if there was a woman married to you and you died, Nancy would be the widow Murgalo.
What do you know?
The widow Murgalo.
The widow Murgalo. Yeah.
I like that, but the guy wasn't the widower Oates. The guy never gets a cool name.
You're right. Well, men, I think it's a stigma. Once you get divorced, the man is first of all responsible for the divorce.
Right, but he leaves his name there until they get remarried. They keep it. Like my mom's last name is still Oates, and they've been divorced for over 30 years.
Well, that's her option. Why did she do that?
40 years. Fuck, 40 years.
Why did she do that? Did you ever ask her? You don't have to.
I think I did when I was younger. I don't know. I think it was weird then to do it. It was weird. I think if you switched it, it was like like remember when divorce wasn't a good thing and it was like a stigma. Right. I think it was then like if you changed your name back, people were like shame, like the Scarlet Letter, like you failed.
I got divorced 50 years ago, and my first wife still uses Murgalo.
Like now?
Right now, yeah. Albina Murgalo.
Albina.
Albina from Russia.
That's her first name, Albina?
What
did you call her? Did you call me Al?
Albina. And she used to call me Flank.
Flank? Albina.
Albina, yes.
That's
from
not
Russia.
That's not, okay, you keep saying that, but I don't care where it's from. That's not even a good name in Russia.
No. It's Polish.
I knew these Croatian twins, and their names were Sanad and Sanada. Like, so they were just, one was Sanad, and then the other one just throw an A at the end. Sanad, Sanada.
Sanada.
And their sister was Arfia, which is the worst name I've ever heard. Arfia sounds like throw up.
I'm so impressed that you remember that.
How do I forget Arfia?
I could. Ask me in 2 minutes, but I'll tell you.
No, you'll remember Arfia.
Arfia.
Like, I remember the Alamo and Arfia. Anything with an A. Is I remember when that was a big thing. Like when I was a kid, I guess because before the internet, we just brought up history more. Because it doesn't seem like people do that now. But like, I remember when people would say remember, so like remember the Alamo, and like even I'm 46, when I was a kid, the Alamo was so far removed. Not like it was like a thing happening, but we would talk about things like that more. It just seems like the world, now that we have the internet and we can just figure out better shit, we don't have to go back to history and say that. Like, no one talks about Paul Revere. No one talks about Daniel Boone. No one talks about Davy Crockett. I was a kid, like Paul Bunyan and Davy Crockett were talked about.
You're naming all ABC series that I used to watch as a
kid. And no one focuses on them anymore. Those were the things you went to. Like, that was your like, I've said this before, but I remember a time when there was only 4 monsters. There was Dracula, Frankenstein, the werewolf, and the mummy. That was your 4. That was the big 4. Zombies weren't a thing.
No.
And if they were, I eat brains. They don't eat brains now. They even changed their diet. They don't. They eat people now. But they remember they had brains. That's all they would do. What happened? Those monsters, that was it. And didn't Bela Lugosi play all of them?
I was going to tell you a funny story. When I was a kid, Bela Lugosi was very famous.
Right.
In my house, we called him Bela Lugosi. And I always thought his name was Bela Lugosi. Till I'm in school and I'm talking to somebody and I would say Bela Lugosi. And they say, no, it's Bela Lugosi. I said, don't tell me. My mother told me it's Bela Lugosi. My mother's name was Bella. So she didn't want to have anything to do with that name, so she changed his name for me.
There you go.
That's what I went by.
I know he played Frankenstein, right?
He played Frankenstein. He played no, Bela Lugosi. No, Boris Karloff played Frankenstein.
Oh yeah,
right. He played the vampire, not the mummy.
He played the werewolf.
The one with the cape. What's the one with the cape?
Dracula.
He played Dracula.
That's the vampire.
Okay, right. That's the vampire. That was it.
The one with who the fuck says the one with the cape?
I do.
How do you not know Dracula? Dracula's more famous than Christ in some places.
I did not like those shows.
I didn't like. I'm
I
not
was
a horror movie guy.
No. I was not a fan. I didn't watch them.
But you watched Abbott and Costello deal with them.
Well, I remember in the movies watching that. Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Remember,
that was very funny.
Did you really think Abbott and Costello were funny?
They were humorous, but I thought I liked.
Who'd you like better, them or Laurel and Hardy?
Oh, Laurel and Hardy. They were
better?
Great. Oh yeah, Laurel and Hardy were great because they go back to silent films, which I remember were on television when I was a little kid, when I was 5, 6 years old. When television first came to being when I was 5 or 6 years old, and that's what they used to show. Shows like that, they kept you in front of the TV.
And that made Halloween easier, right? Because there was like 8 costumes.
Right. Yeah. No, I was big on Hopalong Cassidy.
Yeah. Cowboy.
Do you remember Hopalong Cassidy?
I heard of Hopalong. I don't remember it, but I've heard of Hopalong Cassidy and Howdy Doody, shit like that.
I was in the peanut gallery once.
That was the mother. Is that where the term comes from, or no?
Yeah. The peanut gallery is from Howdy Doody.
Howdy Doody, and that was the kids who sat in the stands.
Right.
And got to be there.
That's where the kids stayed. Yeah.
Right, but I'm guessing the saying. I'm guessing a kids group didn't invent the saying in the peanut gallery. I'm guessing that was already a saying, and then they named their group the peanut gallery.
I don't know.
Why else would they fucking? What about the puppet? Did he like peanuts?
No, the peanut gallery. A peanut. You were the kid. You were like a peanut. They called little kids peanuts.
Because the saying now, someone's like, "Hey, you." I don't want to hear from the peanut gallery. Like people just yell that. Does that come from Howdy Doody?
That comes in. I don't recall anything else associated with.
Nobody was saying that, and then
the Howdy Doody show.
That makes it better. That means that saying comes from someone telling kids to shut the fuck up.
That's right.
I never thought it was that. Like, hey,
we were rowdy. We were rowdy.
You were children in a live show.
Yeah, and I mean, it was. I'm sitting there like an idiot watching this thing with strings on it and go like, there's somebody right there I could see off camera manipulating it and everything like that. Yeah. And there was Clarabelle. I mean, it was kind of.
I don't know what was Clarabelle. Clarabelle's the clown.
The clown, yeah. Clarabelle.
I never actually saw the show. I mean, the show's way before my time.
It was in the early 50s.
My dad was born in the early 50s, I think.
He wasn't born in when was he born?
I think he was born in the mid 50s. I don't know.
Oh, your father?
I mean, it was the early 50s.
Wow.
So he's 69. So.
Yeah. 10 years difference. Yeah, I was born early 40s.
Yeah. I don't remember watching that. I've been to some live shows. I've never been to a live kids show as a kid. I went to live kids shows as an adult with my kids.
Right.
Like I went and saw the Wiggles live like 3 fucking times. Do you know who the Wiggles were?
No.
The Wiggles were 4 Australian men who sang like fruit salad, yummy, yummy, and they like dumb shit like that. And they would sing, and they weren't bad, but like one of them was actually in the band The Turtles before years earlier.
Okay, the Turtles, yeah.
But he wasn't like a main turtle. He was like a
Well, the Turtles had regional fill-ins for them. Because I worked with a guy that was a regional turtle. He told me, he says, Frank, I'm a regional turtle.
He's like, whenever they shed their shell, I take it out.
No, whenever they were on the Northeast, he would go in and play the guitar with them. So they kept the cost down for traveling when they traveled.
That's got to be good to.
Oh, that's a good opening.
To say you're a turtle.
You're a turtle, man.
But you're not really, but you're enough where. Back then, you could be at a bar and tell a woman you're in the Turtles, and she doesn't know. Yeah. There's no Google.
In those days, you could say anything.
Anything you wanted.
Anything you want. Anything. Well, you could, like the hoaxes. You could do anything you want. I mean,
I do know that when I would get. There was a series of time in my life when I was in college. I think I just left college, but I was still not married yet. But there was a band that was called Sister Hazel, and they had a one hit. And it was called All For You, and it was around that time. So I'd say it's like 98, 99, something like that. It was a good song, and I don't know why I did this, but I've been told that. I don't remember. I get blackout drunk. But when I got blackout drunk, I would tell people that I was singing background vocals on that song. And the internet was around, but not like good yet. So nobody could call me on my shit. They'd be like, "You're a liar." I'm like, prove me wrong. But yeah, obviously, I don't know any from Sister Ray. I don't know why I would say that. And then I would just sing the background part, and that was enough proof. And I'm not good at it. But I'm like, they're like, "Well, that didn't sound good." I go, well, 'cause I'm not singing with other people.
Right.
In the studio, we sang with other people, but I didn't. I never sang the "All for You" song.
No.
I don't know Sister Hazel. I don't even know if the guy's name is Hazel. I don't know anything about them. I don't know why it was a song.
You didn't even know if it was a guy.
It's two guys. The background, the background was a guy too, but I don't know. I just would lie. But nobody could call me on my shit then. You can't do that now.
No. Now you can't do anything.
When these young comics are like, I performed at this place, I can go look it up right away.
Go look it up right away.
You lied. I'm like, you were on a Bringer show. It doesn't count. You didn't perform there. You were on with us. The only live shows I went to, I did go, what was his name? Richard Bay. Do you remember that guy? Richard Bay was like a Maury Povich. He had like a Jerry Springer. He had black hair.
National or just in Connecticut?
No. He was. I mean, he recorded in New Jersey, but it was national.
It was national. No,
it was on for too long, but it was very much like those shows. And he was big for a little bit. And me and a buddy and two other friends got tickets. You get them free, but you call up and get them. And we drove from Connecticut to Trenton, New Jersey. And Trenton's in New Jersey, right? Yeah, Trenton.
Yeah.
I think it was Trenton. We drove all the way there. I borrowed my mom's car, her Camry. My mom always drove stick shift. And I'm never a stick shift person. I kind of learned it a little bit. We drove all the way there. And on the way there, we got to New Jersey, and it started to smell real bad. And I was like, "Oh, that's just New Jersey."
New Jersey,
people said that. Yeah, people, it was like a running joke back then, but New Jersey smelled bad. I didn't know that it was because I left the emergency brake on the entire fucking time that I drove from Cheshire, Connecticut to Trenton, fucking New Jersey.
No, and if people had it on the whole time.
The whole fucking time. I must have. I mean, I think we might have stopped for gas, but if we did, it was early. Either way. So we almost got to the place, and then the car completely broke down and seized. I destroyed it, and we had to have tow trucks come. But like, even though we had to have tow trucks come and destroyed my mother's car, I still had to go see Richard Bay. So we were able to go while the tow truck was coming, and they had a midget. Oh no, it wasn't a midget. It was a white trash guy who had like 3 different wives, and because we were loud and younger, and everyone else was like old and fat or black or whatever, they sat us right up front. And we had a video for a while, like me, and I was like just dancing around, and they came out and they said, "Can you believe this?" I go, "I can't believe I'm not into threesome." And I pointed, and they're like, "Then get in here." I'm like, "Gross!" And then like they showed my face on there. It was just a bunch of white trash. But we saw the same thing you saw, like the behind the thing where like in between the breaks, they were coaching them. And this is before I knew that, like, you know, they were like being paid, like they were trash, but they were being paid to like tell their trash story. So like, hey, next scene, pretend like you didn't know she was mad, didn't be mad. I was like, oh, I don't like this. Then my mom was real upset because I destroyed her car. We had no money, so it wasn't worth the trip.
Yeah, I destroyed my father's car once. When I first got my license, he had a '57 Chevy. And it was 1959, got my license for the first time. I forced him to give it to me to go out with my friends. My mother let him say, "You got to let him go out, let him go out." He's 18 years old. So I go out and pick up my 2 friends. We wound up in Jones Beach, and we're driving on the beach. We probably will lick it up a little bit. And so we're on Jones Beach. On the beach.
These tires weren't made for beach driving.
No. But you know, one guy, the guy in front, the guy next to me, sitting next to me, put his foot on my foot on the gas pedal. So we're peeling.
That's kind of gay.
It's 90 miles an hour, some stupid thing with the sand flying like crazy.
You touched my foot. You better.
And then the guy behind, it was Richard Partridge by me, and Richard Giacobbe's behind me. He's 6'4". He comes over me, and he's wrestling with me to get the steering wheel. We're going into the ocean. He's wrestling with me, and then his elbow kicks the shift that was on the column
God.
and throws it from drive to reverse. And there was this.
You guys could have died.
Well, we didn't. And
but you ruined the car.
The car was ruined. Yeah, the car was ruined. You know,
Wait, what were both their names?
Richard Giacobi and Richard Partridge.
So you were surrounded by a couple of dicks.
That's right. Yes.
Look at this.
Two dicks.
Two dicks.
They were high school
Wrestling
friends.
with dicks.
They're still friends. So
That's your book. Wrestling with dicks.
So I could not shift it. I couldn't get it out of reverse, but it only went forward at 5 miles an hour. So we drove to a gas station at 5 miles an hour, coming in like this. And he says, "You really screwed it up. You got to leave it." I said, "I can't leave. I got to get home." Now I'm on Long Island, and I lived in Brooklyn. And so it took us 3.5 hours, 4 hours to drive home at 5 miles an hour. And all I remember is I'm coming down Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn, and my father's 5'2", and he looked about 8 foot tall. He's in front of he's on the street like this, looking me down as I come in. I pulled the car right up to him, and I just ran into the house. Unfortunately, I didn't have a door on my room. It was open, so he was able to get in there and discuss what happened.
Oh, yeah, back then, disgustment.
That was a tough one. Oh, man, he was not happy.
I get, but what?
57 Chevy, man.
All right, but like the car doesn't get fixed by a beating. I never understood the beating mentality. I just never got it. I never understood the beating. I'm mad at you, so here's some punches. Like, yeah, okay, well, I didn't learn less. I just learned to fucking sneak around better.
Yeah.
That's all you ever learn. When you're a kid and you get hit, all you learn is how to avoid the hit.
Yeah, well,
I learned a lesson.
When the belt came out, they used to
if you're going to hit someone, hit them with your dumb hands. Don't hit them with weapons. That's not – or at least give the kid a weapon. If you're going to get a belt, give me a jacket for a shield or something.
The only fight I ever got into was with him. Many fights with him. Fist fights. Yeah, it was 5'2". It was 5'2".
Well, I know, but that's still your –
Well, I came home. I remember.
I know people say that, but like when it's your father or any figure you've looked at your whole life, that gives them an advantage because you already look at them as a sense of power. Even if you're a bigger kid.
No, I never looked at him as somebody with a sense of power.
My dad only fought me like for real once, and I look back at that and go, I was bigger than him. I was younger and stronger than him, but I was at his mercy because I was afraid of him because he was my father and I wasn't going to hit my dad. But then weirder enough, when he's hitting me, I'm like, I wouldn't hit you. Why are you hitting me? And like, so like, if I looked at that now, I'd be like, I'll probably kick his ass. But like, as a kid, I didn't even have that mentality because I'm like, just the part of the trust is gone. Like, you're not supposed to be fighting me, dude. We're like, I came out of your dick, bro. Like, don't fight me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember I came back, I was in the Marines and I came home from boot camp. So, I mean, I just spent 4 months as a Marine with it drilling into me, America, fight for your freedom, everything. Your mother's great and all this stuff. And so I get home. I'm on a date. I come home. And my mother says, your father's not home. They were moving to a new apartment and he was painting it. She says, could you go to the new apartment and see if he's there? So I drive there 15 minutes away. I walk up the flights to the apartment. Nobody's there. I go down and I look down the street for his car, and I see a car that looked like his halfway down the block. I start walking there. All of a sudden, the car's going like this. I said, "Oh, there's Dad again." I mean,
he's fucking.
Yeah, that's what he was known for.
I thought, see, the last story, the car was breaking down. I thought now he broke down the beach.
No.
He had a beach
his
battle.
car was always going like this for some strange reason.
Oh, fuck.
And so
for people listening to the audio, Frank is doing up and down, so it looks like they're fucking in the car.
Right. So I go there, and I look, and they're both naked in the back seat.
Well, that's how you fuck.
That's right. They were doing it correctly, So I knocked on the window, and they both look up and startled that I was there looking at them, and I gave them one of these. Oh, no, don't worry. It's okay. I went like this to roll down your window. The jerk rolled down the window. And I'm looking in, and it was a young girl that I should be going out with. That was
she cute?
Gorgeous. Drop dead gorgeous.
Hey, good for that.
Well, I didn't think so.
I mean, it's terrible. I obviously shouldn't cheat. But if you're going to cheat,
I put my hands
get
in
a hot
there.
chick.
Yeah, she was a hot chick. I put my hands in there. I grab him, and I'm pulling him out the window. He was 5'2",
And nude.
115 pounds. He had his shorts on. She was totally nude, but he had his shorts on. And so I grab him. I pull him out, right?
By the shorts?
By his torso. I just pull him out.
Oh, my God. Torso grab.
Yeah, and I start pounding him. I'm giving him shit. I'm just hitting away at him. And so she comes out, and I look at her, and I said, oh, my God, she's beautiful. And what a body. And then all of a sudden, she jumps on my back and starts scratching my face.
Yeah, because you just beat up the guy that she was fucking. She doesn't know you.
No, she didn't know.
You're a crazy person.
Right. And so
that looks a lot like the guy she fucked.
So I turn around, and I'm fighting with her now. And so my father goes into the car, takes his clothes, puts it on, and runs away.
Yeah.
And so I leave her, go after him. We both wound up in jail. Okay.
Why did you have to go to jail?
Because we wound up in a bar. We kind of destroyed it a little bit from fighting.
Oh, I thought you meant from that incident.
No, not from that incident. No.
Because no one believed women back then, so you were fine with that move.
Yeah, I mean, I had the bar was not happy what we did to it. We were throwing bar stools around, glasses at each other. It was comical.
Did he get his clothes back on?
Yeah, he got his clothes back on. He put his clothes on while I was fighting with the girl, and then he took off.
Now, what did your mom do about this?
Well, all right, so we're talking to the cops, and they got me calmed down, and they said, all right, we're going to let you go, but we suggest you don't go home and tell that to your wife/mother. And I said, okay. So we go home. The
cops told you to lie?
Yeah. And so we go home, but I mean, my face was all cut up. My face was all cut up.
Yeah, this bitch was cutting your face?
Yeah, and my stupid father, you know how we got caught? He had lipstick all over his collar.
You could have said it was yours.
It didn't match. So it didn't match. So,
man.
So that what happens is that I don't speak to him for 2 years until I get married. The day I get married, we're at the reception. He comes up to me and he says, I got something for your son. I go, what? And he gives me a card. And it's for a motel in Brooklyn. I said,
he's giving you a place to go fuck.
With 10% discount. I said, what's this? He says, well, you can't bring your Gumat home. You got to go someplace, and this is a hotel that I like.
Wait, he didn't get you a free room. He only got you a coupon?
10% off. 10% off.
That was your wedding gift? A coupon?
Yeah.
To fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What a weird... I've never discussed sex with my dad. I've never discussed sex with my son. I don't want to know about their sex. It's weird that your dad would say, here you go, when you go fuck. Don't talk to me about fucking dad. Well, you've seen your dad fuck.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of my parents do things. I grew up in a time, it was kind of weird. My mother had boyfriends that I remember when my father was at home, would come over and they would have sex.
So they just cheat on each other a lot. It was just commonplace back then.
It was common in those days. It was common. It was very common.
But if they got caught, the other one would get mad.
They would just get mad, and because they both knew each other was screwing around.
Right, but would they still get? I don't understand. If they're both doing it, why get pissed? Right.
Well, the other one, they tried it. Well, what they were doing was not as bad as the other person was doing it. For some reason, they had what they call that double standards, I think. Yeah. I believe it's double standards. They had that, and it was not. It was. I didn't enjoy that part of life. But what they tried to do with me, because my father did not know my mother was fucking the delivery boy in the butcher shop my father worked.
Oh, he was delivering more than meat.
That's right. Yeah. He was a young kid, and they
both like to fuck younger, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I couldn't believe it. They come to my father and my mother come to me and say that we would like Lewis to stand up for you for your confirmation, to confirm you. Lewis was the delivery boy.
Delivery boy, yeah. That's
and
good.
I said no. And I said they forced me to have him. I never spoke to this guy. And I just couldn't believe it.
He was the patron saint of steak.
That's yeah. He was just. I see. They were kids. My mother was 15 when she had me.
Oh, man.
and they were not married. And
How
my
old was your
father,
dad?
17.
Okay, so it wasn't gross.
No, no.
He wasn't
And
like
what?
20 or something.
No, he was he was acceptable, except that my uncle, my mother's brother, was mafia, and she was on the I guess the carousel at Coney Island when she went into labor. Nobody knew she was pregnant.
Oh,
I
yeah, because that was wrong. You give me a
That was
15-year-old girl,
totally wrong.
you're a
Yeah,
whore.
that's right. You're a bad
Stupid,
person. Yeah,
stupid whore.
yeah.
Dumb whore.
And I was born
The
in Coney
whore.
Island, yeah, Coney Island Hospital because of that. And so the family comes up to Coney Island Hospital when I was born, and my uncle, who's mafia, goes to my mother, who's the father, and she says Sal Murgalo. He takes off. Sal Murgalo's family owned a very prosperous grocery store and meat market in Brooklyn. They go there. He speaks to the older sister that ran the family and tells him what happened, and he's taking Sal out. And so he takes Sal, throws him into his
like
car.
murder.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh.
He drives him
I don't know the vernacular. I don't know.
Drives him.
I thought you meant to take him out, like, let's go have lunch.
No. Yeah, well, yeah, it was more than that. It was
murder lunch.
So they're out. They go underneath the Triborough Bridge, and it was all farmland then. Parks the car, takes out a gun, puts it to his head, and says, "You're going to marry my sister. You're going to fucking die right now." So he married my mother.
Did he think about
it? I couldn't believe it.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. So that's how
he actually did the saying, "Gun to your head."
Shotgun wedding.
No, a shotgun wedding too, but like the gun to the head. You always say, "All right, gun to your head, make a decision."
Yeah.
He really did it.
Yeah, he really did it, type of deal. So,
oh my god.
So that was their courtship, type of deal. And so they always fought.
Okay, but there was a time where he fucked her and got her pregnant.
Right.
So they must have liked each other then.
Well, they were sex fiends.
She was 15.
Well, I mean, that was okay. At 15, you're vulnerable. At 17, you don't know
what the hell
you're
say that.
doing.
First of all, I just want to say right now that the thoughts and views expressed by Frank Murgalo are not the thoughts and views expressed by Patus. I will never say a 15-year-old girl is vulnerable. What are you saying? No, she's not vulnerable. She's a child.
Yes.
It's a child.
Well, I mean, but they were a little
sex fiend. It's a child.
Well, they evolved into appreciating sex more and had a desire to have it.
She was sexually abused by an older person and taught. Like when you were molested, so you tend to do those things. She was taught into fucking because she thought it was the only way men would like her.
Right.
That's
I agree with you. Yeah. I think that was the only one she had before she was married.
I would hope so. Before she was married,
she didn't have a list.
Forced gun marriage.
That's
that long courtship of 9 months. So, were they together for the 9 months?
No, they lived.
So he just blew a load in her once and ran away.
Yeah, he didn't even know she was pregnant.
That's
nobody knew she was. Yeah, nobody knew she was
seeing
pregnant.
Each other.
No.
How did they not know? Didn't she get fat?
Well, she probably knew, but never told anybody. She didn't even confide in the sister.
But she had a belly.
Yeah, they said it was retaining water. People do things like that. Say, I'm retaining water. I put on some weight, and
Where were you born? You were born on a carousel.
She went into labor on the carousel. I was rushed to. She was rushed to Coney Island Hospital, which is 5 minutes away.
Do they serve Nathan's hot dogs there at the hospital?
On the way, they stopped. That was my first hot dog. On the way, they stopped for a hot dog.
I like that you were born at Coney Island Hospital. It doesn't even sound like a real hospital.
Yeah, I mean,
it sounds like you would making a joke, like Coney Island Hospital, right next to the Six Flags Hospital Center. It's like
the bag that I always have with me at the show. It says Carousel on it from Coney Island Coney Island. The Carousel.
You're carrying on a bag of the place where your parents fucked?
Yeah, my wife gave it to me 20 years ago.
Oh, they didn't fuck there. That's just where you were.
No. He may never have been there. I've even never been there. So ever since then, he resented me because he was forced to get married. He went into the Navy.
I never understood resenting a kid because, like, it's his dick. Like
Yeah.
he fucked someone, got him pregnant. He can't resent you. Like that's his shit. He shouldn't have fucking don't come in people. If I can tell you what, if you don't want children, it's very simple. Don't come in people.
Right.
If you don't come in people, you won't make move people. That's the only way you make people.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's some people that can do cloning and shit, but for the most part, the way it's to us people, the only way you can make new people to resent is if you come in other people. Right. So don't come in other people.
I mean, people. I mean, as you say, I mean, humans are the only ones that pull out.
They are, and I've been told I'm wrong.
No.
Supposedly, monkeys can pull out.
Monkeys pull out?
Yeah. They come. I know monkeys throw their shit and jizz at people.
Right. I was at a zoo. I was at a zoo in France, in Paris, and they had this beautiful monkey cage. It was big, and there's 100 monkeys in there. This one stud guy comes out. He was the only one with slick hair. Nice. He was the only one who's like, he would just come over them, grab them by the hair, throw them down, and go from behind and go boom, boom, boom. He must have did it 10 times. I never saw him pull out.
No.
I never saw him pull out.
He's a stud. That's what the word stud comes. He's a stud. Yeah. He's making more. It was time to make the monkeys. Yeah. He came out and he just started going. Yeah. There's a video my kids watch on, like they watch like the YouTube, like the quick little memes, whatever. And there's one going around. There's this big monkeys at a zoo, and I don't know where it was, but it jumps out, and on the ground is all like sand or dirt, whatever. And the people are like standing by, but the monkey jumps down, picks up shitloads of the sand, and just throws it at the people just to make them go away, and then just flexes like, fuck you.
King Kong, like throwing the planes away.
And then you watch another video, and there's a monkey wearing a sweater, and he's opening up Christmas gifts. Like, no, let him throw shit at people and be awful. I like that better. I like that monkey who just runs around and fucks them in the butts.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I mean, his hair was so. How did he get his hair so slick? What did he use?
The monkey women jizz.
Ooh.
Their lady orangutan orgasm. It's hard to say.
Orgasm. Okay.
I bet you there was a guy working at that zoo that did his hair.
that did it. He had his own stylist.
When was this? Like, about what time?
You mean what year?
Yeah, about.
73.
Okay, so you could be gay, but you couldn't openly be gay then. People just say you're flamboyant. So I'm guessing the gay guy who worked at the zoo, they're like, we know you're flamboyant. Why don't you do the monkey's hair? Like that was the job you gave to him.
Yeah.
I was talking about this guy on my other podcast, the Podophiles, last week. I think because you've been around longer, you'll know more about him. Was Richard Simmons ever taken seriously as a workout person, or was he just a flamboyant personality that used that workout thing?
No, he had a cult. He had a following.
I know there was sweating to the olders and everything, but no one ever thought about like him being a real fitness guru, did they? Or he was like a joke?
Well, you got to remember, this is at the beginning of the craze. I mean, there was him, and there was Jane Fonda.
Oh, there was Jack LaLanne.
I was going to say, and there's Jack LaLanne, but
who was badass.
Right, he's the serious one, and the other two were more commercial. They were more
Jane Fonda was
celebrity
just
type.
Hot.
She was hot. That did have workout regimens that worked, and you can lose weight working out to that. It was very popular in, I guess, the 80s.
Yeah.
70s, 80s, whatever it was.
But Richard Simmons became more of a caricature of himself.
As he got older with the hair, and he was dyeing it, and he looked awful, and he was not taken as serious. Well, no, he was. If you believed in him, you took him seriously. I never did. I mean, I just thought he was a joke.
He wasn't in shape.
Well, he had a little tummy.
He was pudgy. Who were the people that were like? I know like there's like Charles Nelson Riley,
right.
Paul Lind, people
right.
that like you didn't call them gay then, but they were like what, like flamboyant.
They were flamboyant.
Who were the people like
personalities? That? They were what's his name? Nelson Riley.
Charles Nelson Riley never
came out of the closet until late in life when he did his
Well,
one-man show before he died.
I know. I mean,
But
he came out of the closet. Just he didn't say it, but like, every time he spoke.
well, yeah, I mean,
Hello.
that's the way he was. I was in a restaurant with him once, and he was the same in the restaurant as he was on television.
Yeah,
I mean,
gay.
he's flamboyant all over the place.
Yeah, I like how they say flamboyant. He's just a gay guy.
Well, in those days, you were
flamboyant.
flamboyant. You weren't gay. You weren't gay enough.
Gay.
You didn't
Hi,
say they were
I'm
gay.
gay. He was gay.
I mean,
Paul Lynde was gay.
Paul Lynde. I mean, on what was that show?
Rip Torn.
Rip Torn was another one.
So gay.
But yeah, he did.
What
it so
did
you
he do?
He did it so he was a stand-up comic in Vegas. Rip Torn.
He's not funny. He just threw confetti and said,
"Well,
gay.
no, he threw confetti, and at the end of the show, he'd go like this with his hair.
Oh,
his hairpiece on. He had a toupee. He made fun. He was he had the toupee, so you wouldn't think he was gay.
What?
He was.
The toupee made him manly?
He was awful. I mean, he was the worst. I mean, he was. You're right. He wasn't funny.
No.
He just threw things in the air. He never cracked a joke. I mean, he ran around. You didn't understand what he was saying.
Who was the funniest gay person back then? B. Arthur? I know she didn't come out, but obviously B. Arthur was a lesbian.
No, she was.
She was a decent stand-up, though.
She never did stand up.
Yeah, she did.
B. Arthur?
Yeah. Before Maude, she did stand-up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, not a ton, but she did some.
I don't recall that. I don't recall. I just remember her as a dramatic actress. Then went into the comedy, did Maude.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive she did stand-up.
I don't know. I got to check into that. I don't remember that.
If anyone,
because there wasn't too many.
If anyone argues that with us, fuck you. If you have B. Arthur comedy knowledge, go fuck yourself. You need more things to do. Stop listening to podcasts.
I don't recall her. There wasn't too many female comics in those days.
Joan Rivers.
Well, Joan Rivers and what was her name?
Did you find her
she
funny?
Was from Connecticut. There was a girl from Connecticut.
Lampanelli.
No. Whoa, I'm going back to the Ed Sullivan days in the 50s. She was hysterical. I forget her name, but she was good. She was good.
Don Panette. Did you find Joan Rivers funny?
Did I find her funny? It wasn't my sense of humor, but I appreciated what she did. I mean, I
remember she was the first female. You know what? Not true. Not true, because I always laughed whenever Carol Burnett was on.
Right.
But stand-up wise, I had seen a couple things of Joan Rivers, but the first female comic that ever made me laugh in my sides was Wanda Sykes. And I remember that when I first saw Wanda Sykes, I was like, because I saw when I was younger, I saw Janine Garofalo, and I'm like, oh, women aren't funny. And I was just grouping them. I mean, I loved Roseanne Barr, the show, but I didn't watch her stand. It wasn't like it was super available. It was on HBO, and I didn't have HBO, so it wasn't like you said, there wasn't a lot out there even for me. But I've gone back and watched some of Joan Rivers' stuff, and she was very brilliant, and she stayed in her brand. I mean, she understood the day she died, she never fucking worried away from who the fuck she was. She
was a marketeer that, did you ever see the documentary about her?
Yes.
That was great.
It
nailed her.
It also nailed comedy, because the thing that it really nailed was, and it hurt me when I saw it, there she is. She's Joan fucking Rivers. She was almost the host of the fucking Tonight Show because of sexism. She wasn't. She definitely should have been. Definitely should have been. She was that talented. She would have been fantastic in that role. It would have changed things. She was funny as fuck. She famous at that point. She made a documentary to the point where she just you just said her name. She was going to sell at a theater. It didn't matter.
Right.
She was still on the E thing. Her daughter was getting work. She was doing everything. Right. She was still working her ass off. Right. And she had her calendar in front of her planner, and she was looking at it. And they're like, "What's wrong?" She goes, "Blank dates make me sad. Yeah. It means I'm not. Something's wrong. It makes me question what I'm doing." And I'm like, there I am, 5 years in the comedy, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, I had some blank date. I'm like, holy shit. Even Joan Rivers isn't worried about that shit, and she's Joan fucking Rivers.
Yeah.
Oh, she was.
That's what made it great. I mean, she was a workaholic. She loved her craft. She worked at it. She wrote everything down. I mean, it's amazing the way she ran her life and a comedy career. It was great.
Yeah, she must have been awful to be married to. Work ethic crazy.
Know what
She's
happens.
funnier than you.
Yeah. I mean, we know what happened, so I mean, you're probably right then. A husband committed suicide.
Yeah, that was a good move
Yeah.
by him.
Well, that's because, you know why? It was because she got the Fox deal. She got the Fox late night show when Carson didn't give it, passed her over. And so she got that deal, and it failed. He was the producer, and he put her into that show. And so he took responsibility for it and took the ultimate hit.
Which is weird because then you go later on, like at first when that happened, I was like, oh, Fox doesn't understand. They did that with her, Chevy Chase. They tried with some shit, didn't work. But they got behind Arsenio right away. The promotion was different. I remember even younger. I heard more about Joan Rivers and Chevy Chase when they were canceled than I heard about them when they were on.
That's right.
Arsenio, I heard about. They advertised it better. They pushed it better, which is weird because you would think out of the three of them, even back then, Chevy would have been the one pushed because like tall white guy. Which I'm happy because I love certain things he's in, but I think overall Chevy Chase is super overrated.
Right. I agree.
One trick pony, right? Just falls down and shit.
Yeah, I mean that's what made him number one. He only lasted one season on Saturday Night Live.
Well, a lot of
the movie
deals. If
you
think about
the movie deals,
the original primetime players, most of them were one season, two. A lot of them didn't stay. They kind of just did it and took off.
Right. Well, I mean, you had Bellucci. I mean, Bellucci, Aykroyd, Morris.
Yeah, but Murray took off, right? Right. He wasn't there long.
Ratner.
But Bill Murray left right away, right?
No. Bill Murray replaced what's his name again? The guy we were just talking about.
Chase.
He replaced Chase in the second season. He came in the second season.
Dan Aykroyd also not funny.
No, he's a comedic actor. He's an actor. He's an actor more than.
I didn't say stand up. I just didn't find him funny. I don't find Will Ferrell funny. I do like a lot of sketch people, but I didn't like those fuckers. Who's your favorite Saturday Night Live person of all times?
The best one of all time?
I have a feeling I know who it is.
No, I mean, I'm partial to the Bellucci. I mean, I really liked him, and he really threw himself into it.
Yeah.
I mean,
he did the fat guy thing.
To say Bellucci. I would have to say.
I wouldn't have said him. I like him.
Murphy.
See, I wouldn't say. I would say Phil Hartman.
Oh, Hartman. Yeah, he was
because he just could do everything.
Yeah.
Sketch guy wise, he could do everything. Straight guy, funny guy, whatever.
Reagan, and he could do Frankenstein at the same time.
Right. But even when he didn't do impressions, which was fine, he just played. He was perfect for that. He was just so good in everything he was in, and that's
you're right. I mean, he's up there. But I went with the ones that made it. Well,
I mean, Eddie Murphy, obviously, when I was a kid, him and Piscopo made me laugh my ass off. That was when I was growing up. Piscopo was amazing.
Oh, man! And I'll tell you, in those days, when Richard Pryor would guest host, it was unbelievable. Yeah. It was must TV. You had to stay up and watch that. I mean, it was unbelievable. The bits that they used to do.
And I know I told this story before, and I think I've told it to you, but that's okay because you're old, so you'll probably forget. But when I first started doing stand-up, I was probably 10, 11 years ago at Joker's Wild. Joe Piscopo headlined. We got him to come down. This is when he first was doing – he was doing more Sinatra than stand-up at this point. But he was doing some stand-up too. And he came down, and he was going to do the weekend, and I was managing the place, and I was driving at the time, and I had to drive him to do some radio. I think he was doing the country station, 92.5. It was up in Hartford, so I had to drive from New Haven to Hartford with him. And we're driving up in the morning, and we're just chatting, and he's a nice enough guy and all. And he also had his manager with him, and his manager used to be his nanny, and he was going through a divorce. And this girl was younger than me, dating Piscopo. And I even made a joke to him saying, did she have to ask her mom who she's fucking? Like, how would she even know who you are? But so we're driving up, and he says to me, hey, tell me if this is racist, which is also my favorite thing, because the second you're going to say that, it's going to be racist. Why you wouldn't ask? But he told me about the story. Remember when at their height, Piscopo and Murphy, they were two huge stars. I think people were both thinking both these guys are going to come out of Saturday Night Live being monster stars, or some people were probably thinking that Piscopo might have been the bigger star. Like they were so big, it was crazy. And they both had huge egos, and he admits to that when they were there. They both had and Eddie would come to every day to practice or rehearsal, whatever, with an entourage of people, and Joe had a couple around him, whatever. And I had never been to Saturday Night Live, so I don't know this, but he told me when they do the Saturday Night Live, obviously with it being live, they can't just use one set because you wouldn't be able to switch things over. So there's more than one set, and the camera just pans over. So but they're right next to each other. So there's one set up, or three. Okay, even three. But he was just talking about two.
Okay.
There was one that was set up that was there was the guy who was from Police Academy, Tim. It's like a Polish name, Kuzrinski, whatever it was.
The little guy with the glasses.
Right.
Yeah.
He was working on one scene where he was Tarzan. He was like a nerdy Tarzan, and he was working on that scene, and he had a monkey with him, and the monkey was acting all crazy, whatever. On the other side, Piscopo and Eddie Murphy are working on the famous Stevie Wonder, Frank Sinatra, Ebony and Ivory scene that they've done, which is, they do. I am dark and you are light. You're as blind as a bat and I have sight. It's a famous fucking scene. So they're working on that scene. And they're kind of having problems with the things going on. They're not really speaking to each other anymore because egos are getting so high. And so he says to cut the tension, which, by the way, this would not cut any tension. Eddie has all his entourage there, and they're all talking to trying to get done. And as they're about to start doing the scene again, in the other scene, the chimp starts going nuts and making noise. So Piscopo turns and goes, "Hey, Eddie, keep your people down."
Oh.
In Sinatra voice. So he goes, first of all, I was being Sinatra, so it was a joke. I'm like, yeah, but come on, man. You know that's racist. The monkey's his people. He's like, it's a joke. Like, what's the joke? That the black people are like monkey? I guess if you look at it that way. Like, yeah, I look at it that way. And it was an awkward ride the rest of the way. So he was a weird guy to work with, too. He was nice enough.
Piscopo? Well, I mean, I think his ego probably got him in trouble. I think he was talented. I mean,
he wasn't a good actor. He's a good impressionist, but to move on to the next level.
I mean, he was an impressionist.
Eddie Murphy proved to be a really good actor. I mean, he really is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not just comedically. I mean, Eddie Murphy takes on role. I mean, he does a fantastic job. He can do his own thing, but also be someone else's vehicle. Piscopo in that Johnny Dangerously. That was the only good role he ever had. I love that movie, though. I have a soft spot for that movie because that was one of the few movies they would play on Comedy Central all the time when Comedy Central first came on.
Oh.
They would play it a lot. So there wasn't a lot of comedy movies out at that time. So they would play it so often that I got to watch it a bunch of times. It'd be also Channel 11, like at 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And they would obviously censor it. But to me, it was just fucking funny. I tried to watch it recently, and it's not funny now. But it was very funny then.
How about, what was the name of the movie? Fort Fairlane, whatever it was?
Well, that's Andrew Dice Clay.
Andrew Dice Clay. I mean, they made a big deal of him making the transition from stand-up to movie star.
Yeah, but then the transition was him doing the same character.
Same character.
But at least that was like an earnest goes to camp type thing.
Right.
Like, at least they were taking the character and saying, let's put the character in a movie. Yeah. Piscopo was Piscopo. He was just a guy. Yeah. But most of those Saturday Night Live movies sucked. Like, Conehead sucked.
I never understood that. Can I say something?
Yeah, no one understood
that. I never understood that. I said, that's not funny. I mean, the bees, when they did the bees, that was funny.
Yeah, I guess the premise. I mean, I understand the premise of it. I understand in a sketch saying, okay, what if aliens came here and they had to lie about being here? Saying you're from France is funny. I mean, that in itself is funny. Yeah. We are, exactly. We are from France, and then it's over. Then to make a movie out of it,
Right, they took the sketch and made it into a full-length movie. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I never saw it.
I did see Conan as a movie, and they just tried to cram all the other Saturday Night Live people. It's like Chris Farley's in it for no reason. It's like because they made it much later. And I love Chris Farley, but I thought I'm not gonna say he was overrated, but I do think he had the fat guy factor. I think I laughed harder at David Spade than Farley when they were together. But then again, like I said, I love Phil Hartman. I kind of like the straight man type thing when they can deliver that. I think Farley couldn't have been Farley without Spade.
Yeah, well, Farley was just so over the top in everything that he did. I mean,
but you need that vehicle to turn it.
Yeah.
He's the crazy out of control thing, but you need that thing to guide it to make the jokes work, and Spade delivered them.
Yeah, no, Spade was good. Spade still is good. I like Spade.
So do I.
He's
I don't
still
like his
good.
stand-up, but it's not the best, whatever.
Well, he's a little sarcastic now. I mean, he's become very
Well, no,
sarcastic.
I like that show he had at Comedy Central. I think he does well as
Right.
a host. Well,
I thought I enjoyed that show. That was a good show.
it's a quality show. It's not the best show, but it's good.
Yeah.
For
what it is, it's
for,
Spade.
for what it is. But yeah, but I thought they could have been this monster team. I think they still would have been. I think they would have taken a break, done other things. But I think if he stayed alive, they would have done stuff.
Harmon, yeah. I think
not Harmon. I'm talking about Spade and Farley together.
And Farley together.
I think they would have stayed a comedic team. Movie wise, it made sense. I mean, both those movies, Black Sheep and Tommy Boy, are both hilarious. Even though it feels like Black Sheep's just Tommy Boy too, but whatever. Yeah. And Tommy Boy has a place in my heart because the man who played Chris Farley's father in that, Brian Dennehy, is my cousin.
Right. No way. Brian Dennehy's your cousin?
Yes, he is. Brian Dennehy's from Connecticut. My grandfather and his grandfather were cousins. So he's like third cousin or whatever. But
wow.
I guess I met. I was told I did, but I didn't know it. I was younger. It was at a funeral or something. I didn't know that, but I was there. I was younger and I wouldn't have known who he was. But my dad has talked with him many times and stuff, and we are definitely related. So I always liked that. I was like, oh, my cousin is the father of Chris Farley and Tommy Boy.
Yeah, he was a great guy. I spent the night with them at Rayo's, a restaurant in East Harlem.
It's like a really good steakhouse, right?
No, it's an Italian.
Oh, Italian. That little place you have to wait forever.
Yeah, that you can't. Frankie No, who's no longer with us. Frankie No was the owner, and his name was Frankie No because if you called up and you asked for reservations, they would say no because they booked it 6 months in advance, and everybody had a table. It only seated 50 people, and so everybody had a table. And I was fortunate enough; a friend of mine had a table there, so we used to go once a month. And this was the week before Christmas. A lot of celebrities used to go there. They probably still do. Used to go there. And Dennehy was right next to us at the next table, and I was with a bunch of guys smoking cigars and just having a good old time. I was the designated driver. I didn't drink. And he wound up at our table next to me, and he's this big guy. I mean, he's really a big guy. And he's all over me, and we're singing Christmas carols till 2 o'clock in the morning.
What was his best Christmas carol? Jingle Bell Rock?
No, we didn't sing that one. I don't remember. You think I remember that?
I thought you would.
No, I would.
If I sang fucking Christmas carols with Brian goddamn Dennehy, I'd remember what fucking tunes we sang, motherfucker. I would remember that shit.
I remember how he sweated. It was, it was a night in the sun. He was a big guy. He had a suit on. And
Irish,
big drinker.
Yeah, they sweat.
Yeah, nice guy.
They're nuts. Okay, so do you care who wins the presidency?
Yeah.
Like, for what? Because you have enough money where it matters?
No. I was thinking of betting it list. I looked at the odds, and the odds kept on going back and forth. I don't want to get into politics.
No, you're right. But I just want to know if you care because
I have a horse. I have a horse in the race that I favor.
Okay? I've gone back and forth with it. I've gone back and forth in my head before up to the day of voting. I wasn't sure.
Right.
But at the end of the day, my decision was, I hate when people say the lesser of two evils because that means one's lesser. They're just two evils, but they're two different evils. They're not lesser. Two different evils.
Right.
And I've grown tired of the current evil.
Right.
So I don't think change is good, but I think I would just rather go back to a politician so I don't care. It was fun. It was fun to have the lights and the craziness and the loudness and the entertainment and all that. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the world reacting to it. It has nothing to do with what Trump has done or what Biden will do. My basis is, weirdly enough, which I wish most people would admit, I'm at least admitting it, my basis has nothing to do with their actual politics. My basis has to do with the fact that listen, you have one uncle that's going to molest you or one uncle that gets drunk and hit you.
Right.
You got to stay with one of them. You're hanging out with the molester one for a while, and you're like, well, at least he doesn't hit me. But after a while, you're like, I'd rather get hit. You know what I mean? Like, you got to switch it up a little bit. And I grew tired of it. It's not fun anymore. I don't like the spoiled sport I'm seeing. I don't like the fact that he had made a speech already saying they're cheating. It's like, stop.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The day before, he's like, I got the lawyers.
That's
ready.
what he does. That's what he does.
I know, but I just don't. And Biden won't be better. And Biden is going to be a war man. We're never going to get out of wars. I mean, the wars he was in with Obama. It will be continue because he loves wars. Kamala Harris is a fucking warmonger. It's going to be bad for shit like that. And because war is business and economy is bad, so therefore you're going to keep war going so you can give jobs to fucking sell weapons and all things like that. You're not going to stop war when we have no money. But I'm just done with Trump.
Well, yeah, I kind of.
I wish there was someone else better. I just done.
There was, but politics is fickle.
No, I meant out of the two. I don't even know if Bernie was better. I think
no, God forbid. No, I wouldn't want Bernie in there. Oh my God!
A lot of people
get a car. You get a car. You get a car.
A lot of people think they want that because it's promises and happiness. It's your high uncle. That's the other. It's the pothead uncle. No, that was that.
They're all younger than me. That's just sad.
No, are they?
Oh yeah, it's what's his name?
Pelosi's not. Pelosi's older than you.
No, she's 80. No. I'm talking about the president, both presidents, or the future, possibly future president. Biden is 77. He's going to be 78 in November.
Which means though, if he does win, he'll be 81 when his term's over.
Well, by the time he'll be 78, 82 when his term's
81, 82.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, he's a one-term wonder.
Well, who knows?
Well, because look at him. I mean, he can't even function properly.
You know what?
I speak better than him, and I had encephalitis.
Right.
I think I got more going on there than him.
But you do. But here's the thing. Usually, they always say, like, watch a president go into the White House and watch them age. Like Obama looked so much younger, and after 8 years, he looked like he aged 30 years.
Yeah, he looked old.
But what if you go in really old?
When you're
maybe you come out young.
Yeah, well, I mean,
maybe he'll come out looking spry.
Benjamin Button, yeah.
Maybe if you take him away from sniffing people for a while, he'll be better. Maybe he stops smelling all the essence of children. That's what I think too. I don't like Biden at all. But I'm so tired of Trump, and I'm tired of the Trump people.
Yeah. Well, the problem is
that fans suck.
They just forgot about the other half of the country. I mean, it is the United States of America.
They forgot about the country and all. The two of them.
Right.
It's two people. It's the Yankees and the Red Sox, and that's not what politics should be.
No.
It shouldn't be fans. No one should be mad about the other team winning.
Right.
It's like my mom said to me, and she's not political in any way, but she's like, and that guy who thinks he's president. And I'm like, what? She goes, Trump. I go, he is president. She's like, well, he's not my president. I go, he is though. And she's like, well, I don't want to get into it. I go, I don't want to get into this, but they don't talk like that. Like that's the divide I don't like. I cannot like a president. Listen, if I vote for one person, the other person wins, they're still the president of the place I live.
Right.
I don't care because they don't affect me. Frank, you know how little money I have. Right. Presidents don't affect me. They don't. I don't matter to them. They don't matter to me. They don't. They affect people with money or power. They don't affect. It's a business, and the people who can make the money do that. I don't do anything for them. They don't do anything for me.
I mean, this doesn't affect you. This what Biden came out with, that he's not going to tax anybody that makes $400,000 or less. Doesn't that affect you?
I'm not. Frank, for a while I wasn't even paying my taxes. And I'm fine with it. I'm not making any money. My only reason, here's the real reason I almost voted for Trump.
Right.
And I'm being 100% serious. And I've said this twice and people think I'm kidding. But my only reason I almost voted for him yesterday was because in my mind, I thought he's the kind of guy that will have somebody do the research and see who voted for him and who didn't. And literally give stimulus checks just to those who voted for him. And then on top of that, only give the stimulus checks to them and then tell everyone that they need to get a vaccine mandatory, and it costs $1,200, the exact amount of the stimulus. And then that way he would get the money back anyway. So, but if you didn't get it, the stimulus check, he'd make you pay for it out of your pocket. Literally, my thought was, I want to at least get the stimulus check. Maybe I have to vote for him so he's not like an angry, ex-girlfriend who's like, I found out you did this and now I'm mad at you. That was the only reason why I almost voted for him. And I don't think I'm wrong. I mean, yes, I'm being a little crazy, but I don't. You can't 100% say you don't believe he might do that. He mentioned it with the first stimulus check. Yeah. He made a joke saying I should only send it out to the people who voted for me.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
He's stupid. How about the fact that what he did, he stopped taking out payroll taxes the last 6 months. How many of the people that this affected knows that in January you're going to get that money taken out?
Right.
I mean, it's only a loan. I mean,
well, that's and it's also why they raised the minimum wage. Because they raised it, but you're not going to notice it because once they take that back out, you're just going to get back to the old money.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. Politics is awful.
Look, the state of the country is awful. Yeah. And so that's why I think it's funny that everyone's angry about that. I've made this point, and I think you'll agree with this one. This is a point I'm proud of that I've come to. With Daylight Savings Day happening the other day, think about it. So that Saturday at 2 p.m, you and I would both look at our clocks. We'd be in different houses, in different places. We'd both look at the clock, and we'd both know we have agreed it's 2 o'clock. If you're in California, it's 11 a.m. We know that. They say that. We agree that they say that. We're all on board. You go over to another country, they say their time. Like, yeah, we agree at this time, even though it's 2 o'clock to us. We all, as a world, came together and agree that these are the times, right? We all do it. Right. Even though time, I don't want to get into a crazy thing, time isn't real. Because like when dinosaurs were around, there were clocks. Time isn't real. The actual concept of like a clock in time is not real.
The first clock was when you looked at the sun. Well, exactly. Where's the sun?
All of that told you was times of the day to know to get away from before the darkness and the bad things come out and all that shit and when to do your work. But I'm saying is time wasn't a thing. We all got together and said, we're going to say there's this many hours in a day. We're going to say there's this many minutes in a day. We're agreeing that this is the thing that works with the sun, and we're all going to agree on that, right? We all did. Different races, different creeds, different colors, all agree on that. But we can't agree that we shouldn't hate each other. Election day, we can't agree. We have to kill each other. But we can all agree it's fucking 2 o'clock. That's the dumbest thing. I'm not saying they're exactly the same thing, but if we can all just sit there and go, what the fuck, it's 2 o'clock. And then the next day, because we just decided, we go, nope, it's 3. And we're all cool with it. We all groan and go, I have to move my clock around. I gotta do whatever. But we have to do it because it's 3, because farmers one time. That's it. Now if it's like, hey, this thing is wrong. I don't care who the president is. We shouldn't be attacking these people. We shouldn't treat people this way. There shouldn't be people that poor, people this rich. There should be. Nope, can't agree on that. We got to fight. There's money. Yeah, money we also made up, by the way. Currency's not real. We made all that up, and then we pretend like it doesn't count. There's not money. They're just things. We invented money, and now we have invested in a thing of money. Why can't we treat everything like Daylight Savings Day? Just agree on shit. And then if you don't like it, you just go, oh, it's 2 o'clock. This is why I should be president of the United States.
I would vote for you. I
don't know what to do, but I can talk my way in.
Perfect. You're a perfect candidate.
That speech right there, that would be my I have a dream. That would be that's my big old stump speech right there. The time speech is the good one. But you know me, I would change it from Patus to Patus, and they get mad at that. Like,
no, they wouldn't. As long as you gave them money.
I would give them. I would adapt some things. I would adapt China's internet thing. I wouldn't look at it, but I would give I think at this point in the world, everybody should have free internet. I think that's possible. I don't think people should be paying for it. We use it for too many things. Yeah. Schools need it. It's the wave of the future. Schools are done wrong. The school system now is still teaching you bell to bell, which is a way we used to teach kids to go to factories. That's what schools were for, to teach you how to get up early, to listen, to move, to go to the next place, like you had to do at work. That's not what we do anymore. More kids are going to be doing what you and I are doing right now for work than they're ever going to be in a factory. Yeah. So we should be investing in this more, and therefore inner city kids should have the more. Everyone should have it for free. Now, because of that, the government, I'm going to have access to see what a weird porn you're watching. But I think we watched enough porn to calm down a little bit. So,
well, I'm going to tell you something. That I had a home in Mexico, and 10 years ago, the town that I lived in, the developer of the town who ran everything, gave everybody free internet. They were able to sign on and get free internet. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, he's thinking like you.
Well, China does that, but then they control it, and you can't do whatever you want.
Well, that's too much controls, though. I mean, that's too
right. I don't want that control, but I would change schooling, and I would change that internet part, and I would make more opportunities for people that are on unemployment to actually work in their home while they're unemployed. I would let people that are unemployed get unemployment, but they'd have to do stuff like the caregiver. Okay, like the people now that grow weed. So like they can do medical marijuana people.
Right.
I would, if you're somebody who has a disability and you're not a drug addict, whatever. Right. As the government, I would say, well, we're going to sell weed anyway. We're going to be doing it through these caregivers, these hospices, all these kind of things, whatever, to make sure that the right people get it, or they can buy it, distilleries or whatever, distribution places. I would say, okay, if you're going to be off for this amount of time, here's your kit, here's your thing. We bring this in, you grow this, and we will pay you unemployment while you do this for us. This is the labor you do from your home, growing weed, and we come pick it up, whatever. And therefore, you're doing a job and you're learning a skill. So when you are done, and now I have places that are dispensaries and stuff like that you can work, you could work there. And you didn't have to leave your house. It would be a way to do it. I know people would say, like, you can't just have people doing drugs in their house, but you're already, let's embrace the fact that it sells.
I mean, I do agree with you to a point, because I always believed in nobody should get a free ride. I mean, you want money, you need money, we'll give it to you, but you have to perform a service for us.
Right. Or like,
and your service,
or if you can't do that with the internet I gave you, do censuses, do things like that. Yeah, I'm going to give you paperwork.
Right.
And that's you don't have to go online once every Sunday, check in this thing, make sure you did. No, I will see, because you have to go online to do the work. Right. If you're not doing the work, you don't get the check.
Right.
Do the work.
I agree with that.
Do the work, you get the check, and I'll take. And you can stay on it for as long as you need to, till you can find another job. Because because I'm making something off it. You're helping. I'm paying you for a service that's helping the country go on. See, I'm the president.
Man, you solved that, man. I tell you. If we had another hour, we could probably get into nuclear warfare and solve that problem.
How about this? No more. Ready? Now, this is where I lose my platform. Right. No more guns. What? Yeah, I'm done. I know, but we don't need them.
Are you serious about that?
Yeah, we don't need them. It was never needed.
You know, I believe in the Second Amendment, but I think that you should have a rifle, you should have a bag of pellets, and you should have a thing that goes in there, and you should be able to put it in and defend yourself. But anything that is automatic, I don't think that's necessary.
Chris Rock's joke is the best one about it, where he's like, everyone can have guns, but bullets should be $1 million. So you have to really think about, you got to think like $1,000 a bullet, like that. So like, so if you're gonna shoot someone, you got to go. I want to kill this man, but I got to pay rent.
And then you got to retrieve it.
Right? Yeah, you got to pull it out of him, get it back. I know people get very crazy with that one, but there is no need to have the ability to kill someone else. Yeah. If nobody ever, it's too late. The world's already had guns, so I can't say the same. But if there never had a gun ever, there would be a lot less things. It would just be fists and arguing, and you had knives and shit like that. Obviously, we figure stuff out. But like when it comes to that kind of stuff, we just found different ways to like shoot before talk. And I'm a big fan of let's talk before we fight type deal. Right. If you have that ability just to shoot, anger goes with that, and boom. And I don't know. I wouldn't want them at all. But that being said, because if I was president and there already were guns, I would have gun states and non-gun states.
How could you do that? I mean, how would you do that?
We have 50 states.
Could be a gun state?
We have 50 states, correct?
Right. 25.
So what I would do at the beginning is do a census through my people that are at home getting paid. They would, one of their tests they would do is go and do a census test seeing where people are that have guns. And then I would do from that, and I'd say, okay, let's say there's a lot of people in Connecticut with guns. Let's say there's not a lot of people in Rhode Island with guns. I don't know. I'm just making two things up.
Right.
They're next to each other.
Right.
Then what I do is with the people that want to live with guns, I say, well, now Connecticut is gun place. Rhode Island is not gun. Okay? Guns are allowed here, not allowed here. Right. If you want to have guns, we will offer a way for you to trade with someone at the same value of home that you have, trading properties together and mortgages, all that thing, so you could go there and you could live in a state where you would believe in that thing. Because even though we're the United States of America, it makes no sense that we are a country, because we are 50 different fucking places. Wisconsin and Hawaii shouldn't be under the same realm. California, New Jersey shouldn't be under the same. So let's make them almost like little states. We control, we help, we give out money, but we make sure that governors actually have power, that local politics actually has power, that people take care of their own selves, their own place. But if you don't feel safe because you're afraid of guns, but someone else like, I only feel safe when I have guns, you should be able to live like in the old times. I'll live out here where the shooting's hard. Like, I live over here where my family's safe. That's what you do. If you want to go to school, here's the place with good schools. If you care more about just learning a trade or whatever, this is the state you live in. These things are built for this. And then we start to get pride in that more. And it's like the old times when you travel and go, I'm going to go to the place that makes tires. You're like, ooh, Tire Town. And you go there. It would be more exciting. And I would need 8 years to make all this happen. But look how many jobs I created. Look how much change I made. It's not the worst idea. There's crazier ideas.
It's just another crazy idea. It's not crazy. Are you serious about that?
Of course, I'm serious about it.
I'm serious about something as ridiculous as that. 50 individual states doing. If you want to have guns, you got to go to this state.
Yeah.
Right.
State.
If you want to eat Italian food, you got to go where? South Carolina? Are you serious?
No.
I got to move to South Carolina.
Are you hearing me? New York. I'd put it in the best spots. I'd put it where it's supposed to be. You wouldn't be allowed to get a pizza in fucking Minnesota. What are you doing? You shouldn't eat one from there.
You got to go to Connecticut. Connecticut's pizza, right? Connecticut's pizza.
Food-wise.
Or is pizza and Italian food the same?
No, I wouldn't change food-wise, and I wouldn't change culture-wise. I want all cultures to be there. I'm just talking about things that are safe or things that are educational.
Oh, okay.
So we're teaching that. Like, if you go to let's say if you go to Massachusetts, I'll put the best math schools all in Massachusetts. You have MIT, things like that. But other college, in high schools and things of that level doing that. I also would change the way colleges were. I think that you should go to college later. I think college shouldn't be right after high school. I think after high school, you should learn a trade. You should have to go do a trade, learn a couple of trades, work jobs. And then, because you don't know what you want to do in life at 17, but you do when you're 25, 26. If you have experience in life for a little while, if you have like 5-6 years of work, you can really decide. When you're 15 and someone's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You don't fucking know. You only know what your parents have told you, what you've seen on TV, what you think sounds cool. But if you get to go work and do things, then you go, oh, wow. I want to be a mechanic. I've got 5 years of experience of learning about it a little bit. Now I can go to school, get a real trade, really focus on it and become good at it. You can become better. You take that little time. Then you go to school when you care about college. You're not worried about partying and drinking. You party and drink with those beginning years where you're working. And then you go off to school and you actually focus on it. And there our economy becomes better because you're more focused and more talented and more responsible.
You know, I agree with you on that. I agree that you shouldn't go to college right away because you don't have enough life experience to figure out what the hell you want to do in life.
And if you don't want to go to college, you can just continue to work.
Right. If you get lucky and you enjoy something and you're making money to live a good life, you don't have to go to school. I mean, when you went to college, what did you major in?
Communications.
Well, you got lucky.
I never learned anything about it. I mean, it took me, all I did was sales until, 10 or 12 years ago, I started doing this, but I didn't learn anything about communications.
Yeah. Well, you know what I majored in?
Dance.
Electrical engineering.
Nice. How much of that?
Somebody told me to do that. Right. After 1 year, they called me in and they said, why why do you want to become an electrical engineer? I said, I don't have a clue why. And they
Someone
said, well,
told you
look at your grades. You should not be an electrical engineer. So I went into business and accounting.
When I was in college, a girl I was dating told me I should go into political science. And I'm like, no, I would never do that. And here I am now with my platform to be president of the United States.
Yeah.
See, I should have listened.
Well, you have life experience. I mean, you have life experience.
See, that's the thing. All these presidents with their money, like we need someone to run the country who could just struggle through barely making it through. Right. That's where our country is. We need someone poor to figure shit out and go, how to tell China, I'll pay you next month. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we need now. We don't need someone that knows how to pay a bill. We need people who know how to fucking avoid a bill.
Figure out how not to pay a bill.
Yeah, that's what we need.
That's what you need.
I should be it. Patus, the new president.
You're beginning to make sense.
Vice President Murgalo. Hello, sir. You're in. All right, Frank. Thank you for filling in when no one else would fill in.
Had a lot of fun.
You're good. I'll send a link. You're good for Friday?
Yep, no problem.
People, watch our show, POS. That's our plug there. We would promote a show, but because of the stupid government, we don't have a show right now. So anyone out there who lives in Connecticut wants to laugh at like 7 p.m. and has a venue, hit up me or Frank, and we will come tell you jokes. There you go. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Goodbye.